Welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I am continuing my series of videos on the Tome of World Building by Matt Finch of Mythmere Games. It's quite a book. This is quite a work to get through, and so I think in the last couple of videos I've been tackling chapter 5 in a pretty haphazard and kind of chaotic way. I actually deviated pretty deep into chapter 11 for a good section of one of the most recent videos. But today we're gonna get back on track. Damn it, we're gonna make this thing happen. So I did a little thinking beforehand, just uncommon for me. And so today we are going to start off in chapter 6. And chapter 6 is all about countries. Now, we've established the names of a few countries in our little world setting here. The world setting that we kind of have started so far, and this is super preliminary. I'm going to get into some of the details of the terrain and stuff in later episodes. But as it stands right now, we've kind of established that there is this coastal region that it's kind of divided by these 3 realms. I'm kind of treating realms to somewhat mean country, although it's not necessarily a one-for-one. I think in our case it's going to work better if it is, because I'm still kind of digesting how this is intended to work. But effectively, we are in there's a place called the Goblin Tribes, and I'd kind of called it like the Black River Valley, kind of had the name for this river. But I was looking at some of the earlier decisions I had made, some of the earlier things we had generated. And one of them here is the singing automata of Tar-Hartha, which it got me imagining maybe an ancient, like, enormous, like, building of an automaton, like a huge creature that's kind of embedded in the ground near, like, kind of at the joiner of these 2 rivers. Like, it landing caused kind of enough crater space that it kind of created these rivers to kind of flow around it. And so it's the joiner where the 2 rivers meet before heading off towards the ocean. And that means I really like the idea of this place being called Tar-Hartha, named after the singing automaton that sings at the river's meeting place. So there's this enormous kind of, I think, probably holy head that sings the sacred words, right?6whatever. So I think at the end of the day, these goblin tribes living in this place, I don't think they vie for control of the head. I think they worship the head, but they kind of vie for the right to worship it first. And it's actually, I think, a fear of this automaton, a fear of the singing head, that keeps them in a kind of uneasy peace. And we'll get into what that means, I think, later. But for now, I don't know. I really got into this idea earlier today that this is a central feature of Ruldea, the continent that we're kind of ostensibly in, and the countries. But today, most importantly, I just want to go through the countries chapter 6. We're not going to go all the way through it. All we're going to do is we're going to set up just a little bit of stuff. We're going to generate a country. We're going to go from the generating a country bits here for one of these countries. And we're just doing this to kind of explore this. And then I'm going to do the rest of the countries in this list offline, because doing this 3 times seems like it might be more than anybody wants to watch. But if I'm wrong, tell me. Send out in the comments. I'll listen to you. You're my public, my people. I appreciate you hanging out. Speaking of hanging out, if you like these videos, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you want to see more of them, you should subscribe. And if you want to be notified when they come out, you should hit the bell icon. I'm working on a thing where that wasn't happening. I think I might have fixed it, so we'll see. Let me know if it doesn't work. And then, of course, if you want to get early access to these videos, I do release them a week early over on my Patreon, patreon.com/WatcherDM. You can see it over in on the other side of the screen there. And yeah, any paid tier there will get you early access plus access to a bunch of kind of unique content. Right now, I am trying to write a mega dungeon throughout all of 2026. I'm like 20, I know it's whatever, it's 25 days in. I'm recording this on the 25th of January. And so I have not failed yet. I'm drawing every day, and I'm drawing and I'm practicing my art, and I'm practicing writing every single day, and I'm posting those daily on my Patreon. They're only as good as I am, so I'm not trying to tell you that they're great, but if you wanted to come check them out, I would love to hear what you think about them and get your feedback. But let's stop yakking the jaw. Stop stretching for time. Don't stall anymore, Gabriel. Get your act together. We're gonna go and check out what is Yath-Kaj. So Yath-Kaj, we're gonna get, I think we just roll a d4, right? You've already generated a cultural template, which you can apply to the first country in the culture. Oh, okay. So we actually don't want to vary from this. So we're just going to leave the country. Yath-Kaj has the template culture. No big deal. City population. So let's see here. So it says we need cities. And I guess we're kind of in this, we're targeting for the world. I think we determined we are targeting for a heavy metal city. You know what else I forgot? I forgot my dice. It's going to take over my screen for a sec. Sorry. Yeah, look at that. That's so funny. Oh, right, because my talking head has that on it too. Let's go back over here. My bad. Sorry about the... Whoa! What happened? Let me clear my dice palette and turn the dice thrower back on here. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw some dice. Oop. Get over there. Show me the dice money. There we go. All right, so we're rolling a d6. 3. All right, so 3. Uninterestingly, I think we only get 3. So like the first 3 options here are 10,000, which is fine. It's interesting that it goes from like, oh, we're making a country to, oh, how big is the city? Right? So I think we're going to start with a city. And this will be the, capital city. And we're going to look over here in the Nomicon for city names. Clear my dice. Can I clear my dice? Thank you. And let's find some city names. So I think, is there name of culture? I don't think I think we were using terrain. We were using kind of chthonic, like Elder Weirdish names for places. Chthonic single word place names. Let's try that. See what we get. So we're doing so roll for a part 1, and then for any part 2 for a 2-part place name. Yeah, let's try it. So we're going D100, D100. And it's 36.9. 36,9. Come on. So 36 gives us Kuo. And 9 gives us either Bos or Mnis. Quomnis. Quobos. Quobos. Quobos of Yath-Kaj. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. And the population is going to be 10K. give or take a K, I guess, probably. All right, so we got our city population, and then we need our rural population, right? So the rural population here is going to be some value between 3 and 18. Now, it's giving us like a, oh, wait a minute. I see what it's saying. Okay, so there are 10,000 people. I'm an idiot. What it's saying here is 10,000 people live in cities in Yath-Kaj. I don't want to waste a name, so we're going to put cities here. And Kuobos will be a city, but we'll get to that. We don't have to drink that fruit right now. But what we are going to do is we're going to kick this out, and we're going to roll 3d6. And we got a 10, which is right in the middle. And that gives us, wow, 19,000 people per hex. So actually, that kind of works for our particular space, because we're basically saying that the rural population is 20,000. And yeah, just trying to imagine here, that like 2/3 of the population live in rural communities. These are tribal goblins. And then 10,000 probably live like in kind of a city that I imagine to be kind of established really near the automaton, the singing automaton. And maybe they're like part of a priest servant class. They're like, their job is to kind of keep an eye on the other goblin tribes from the other countries, and like make sure that the sacrifices are coming in right, and that all the things are known right, to all these different that the sacred texts are being followed, right? And then it says here, interpretation, see above. 30 mil hexes. If you don't use 30 mil hexes, yeah. I think that's fine. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I guess we do need to know. So Yath-Kaj is which one of our realms, right? Did we already pin out? Let me see here. It's a religious organization. Here we go. Realm 3. So which one are we looking at here? This is the downriver realm. This is the upriver realm. And this is the coastal realm. Right. So I think this realm 3 here, we're just going to rename it. We're going to say at this is Yath-Kaj. Right? 75 hexes. So we're just going to make that a country. I think that's fine. If Matt wants to yell at me later, he's within his right. I might be doing this wrong. I think one of the beauties of role-playing games is that there's no way to do it so wrong you could die, and yet there is so many ways to do it so wrong that a lot of people die. But they're imaginary people, and that's okay. That's the game we're playing. So I guess the real take here is that 20,000 goblins live. Oh geez, where do we go? Let's get back here. 20,000 goblins live within the 75 hexes of Yath-Kaj. And then towns being population centers of about 1,000 to 6,000 people, are population centers that provide skilled craftsmanship for rural populations, act as middlemen for regional trade, and usually serve as administrative centers. Taking England as the model, for a world with early medieval or ancient feel, all but a couple of these towns should have a population of only 1,000 to 2,000. In other words, they aren't significant enough to put on a world map unless you are working on the map of the country where the adventuring is going to begin, and possibly not even then. That's fine. Not worried about that. This is population per hex. I think this is early medieval and fantastic. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's we don't want early medieval or fantastic. Whatever. What does it say for fantastic? Are we like way off here? 10, I guess, would be 8,000. Oh, I kind of like that better, actually. Can we get the city? Can we get the town? Like city populations that way too? I guess not. It just has one table for city populations for heavy metal. So yeah, whatever. I kind of like the idea better that there's only 8,000, but I want there to be more people, more goblins. We're more rural goblins than city goblins in my goblin country, if I may. I like that idea. I want them to live on the land. Distinguishing cultural feature. Every country should have at least one additional detail that sets it apart. This is what I've been looking forward to. This is the thing I want the most right here. Let's roll it. Let's roll a d4. Boom. 4. Mode of dress. Okay. I'm going to say distinguishing feature. And the distinguishing feature is we rolled a 4. And as I've been doing in this, I'm just going to copy this content so that it's easy for me to get access to later in the process. Who follows the custom? And table 614, style of dress. What is the style? So we're going to go on to table 613. Which is right down here. Style of dress. Who follows this custom? So clear this. Roll our d20. And we have 13. So I guess here we can even just say who follows the custom can become an entry, right? And then we can get rid of this and here and just say 614 style of dress. What is the style? I'm going to make it a sub note here. We rolled a 13. 13 is each social class has a distinctive mode of dress. I kind of love that. I think that's great. A lot of clothing diversity among the goblins. It was pretty fantastic. And then this is interesting because, like, I guess the idea here is that the style, right, is going to be this, a d6. So then we rolled a 3, a badge of status, or multiple badges or ribbons. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's put that. And then do we have particular garments, facial paintings or tattoos, events with ceremonial stuff, recent events? Okay. You know what? I feel like we need a few social classes. I wonder, are there social classes? Is it, in broad terms, yeah. About social class. Knights or similar warrior social class. If a country's description calls out a particular profession, tribe, social class, or other group because of this table, it's also a good idea to make that group well renowned for some reason. Otherwise, there's no reason to have mentioned it. Members of this particular social class might be a high class or shunned social class. Okay, cool. So we're not going to worry about that right now. But what I am going to do, because this is interesting, I think conceptualizing different social classes would be an interesting thing to kind of see expressed here in this book. Or it'd be nice to have this is like a variety of social classes, certain things that might stand out among these peoples. So we're going to make up some real quick. How are we doing on time here? About 20 minutes. I think we got a couple more minutes here. Social classes. And I think the goblins of Yathkaj are going to have a couple of primary classes. Obviously, there's the priest class, right? We've already talked about them a little bit. I want to say there's probably a sacrificial class as well. These are goblins who are like blessed to be served up to the gods as sacrifice. They're kind of they're treated very well, but it's all very much like a kind of a show to prepare them as like the best gift they could be giving to the gods, kind of thing. I think, but we don't have to like lock that in just yet. But I do like the idea that these people maybe sacrifice some of their own to this singing automaton. I think that's really, really cool. I think there's probably a merchant or like a trade class, trade masters. And then I think there's probably an unclean class. And so the priest class probably is the ones wearing badges of status or multiple badges and ribbons, as are the sacrificial class. I think those two make a lot of sense with regards to that. But we're going to roll one more time because I really want to see what we get here. 4, facial painting or tattoos of a particular color or pattern. And I love that. I think that's the thing. I want to get that. I think our unclean are going to be marked with some kind of facial paintings or tattoos. 5. Okay, so we rolled a 5. So I think this will say priest class and sacrificial class, a badge of status or multiple badges, ribbons, etc. And then the unclean, I guess it's probably face painting on one cheek. And maybe we'll figure out what that actually looks like through some other means, or maybe we can even use one of these. Let's just rando a table here. Let's go to a page. A dead guard. Camels. Oh, bugs. I like bugs. Yeah, let's do bugs. A face painting on one cheek of a violet scarab. I think that's cool. That could be pretty cool. All right. Well, hey, we did it. We have kind of outlined what is interesting and unique about this particular country. We've established what the city populations of this country are, what the rural population of this country is, and then it's got a few social classes that we've kind of pinned out for these goblins. I think the goblin tribes are probably like, they're not really united. Like there's a lot of autonomy, but they kind of agree mythologically on what's happening with this automaton, the singing automaton of Tarhartha. And so I think they all agree that they subscribe to the idea that they must sacrifice some of their best to this strange singing god. That's just cool. All right. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Again, I hope you like this. If you like these kind of videos, do the stuff. And if you have any ideas, or you like what I'm doing here, or you hate what I'm doing here and you want to tell me about it, please, sound off in the comments. Tell me what it is. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for playing.